Hello friends, let's talk about the very first topic of accountancy, that is bookkeeping and accountancy. First of all, we discuss bookkeeping and then we discuss accountancy. Bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is an art as well as a science. Bookkeeping is an art as well as a science. Why it is an art? Why it is a science? It is an art. We have to understand first what the artist does. Artist imagine certain things in order to paint the picture of Shri Ramchandra, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Out of imagination, he imagines that his forehead will be like this one, his turban will be like this one, nose will be like this one. He makes certain assumptions. Similarly, in bookkeeping also, we have to follow certain assumptions. So, as in art, assumptions are followed. Similarly, in bookkeeping, assumptions are followed. That is why bookkeeping is called as an art. What the artist does? He makes practice in order to become proficient. In order to become proficient, in order to become expert. So, practice is required. Practice is required in art. So is the case in bookkeeping also. Bookkeeping requires practice. Without practice, you will not be able to learn bookkeeping or accountancy. There may be a good book you are reading, there may be a good teacher which is teaching to you. All those things will matter, but your practice will matter more. If you practice, you will become proficient, you will become expert in the subject bookkeeping and accountancy. So because certain assumptions are followed, certain practice is required, that is why it is called as an art. Now, bookkeeping is a science also. Why it is a science? Science is based on certain rules, certain principles, certain facts. So is the case with bookkeeping also. Bookkeeping is also based on certain rules, certain principles. There are principles which we will discuss later. So there are rules and principles to be followed. That is why it is called as a science. So bookkeeping is an art as well as a science. And let me make you clear that bookkeeping is more a science, less an art. More and more we have to follow the rules and principles, but at certain places we have to make certain assumptions. So that is why it is called that it is more a science, less an art. But it is an art as well as science. It is an art. Art of what? It is a science. Science of what? First thing we have to do in bookkeeping is we are to identify. We are to see which item to be recorded, which item not to be recorded. So for example, tuition fees. Tuition fees are of proprietor's son. Of a proprietor's son. Paid by proprietor from his own pocket. We have to check it whether this item must be recorded in the books of accounts or not. We have to identify. So this item must be recorded or this item must not be recorded. If it is a personal item, it is not to be recorded. If it is a business item, it has to be recorded. Somehow, when I am saying somehow, it means there are actually two aspects of a particular accounting system. We will discuss later the double entry system. One aspect is debit, another aspect is credit. There are two aspects of each and every transaction. For example, if we purchase the machinery, Machinery is coming, this is one aspect. Cash is going, that is other aspect. So there are two aspects of each and every transaction, and at least one aspect of the transaction must relate to the business if we are to record it in the books of accounts. If both the aspects are personal one, then that will not be recorded. So first we have to identify which item to record, which item not to record. Second aspect is miring. Miring into monetary terms. Miring into monetary terms, into rupee terms. I purchased 3 machines and 2 buildings. These 2 machines and 2 buildings, 3 machines and 2 buildings, these will not be recorded. These will have to be converted into monetary terms first. What is the worth of these 3 machines in rupee terms? What is the value of these 2 buildings? That money value should be recorded, not 2 buildings, not 3 machines. Machines in rupees, those are to be recorded. So we have to measure them into monetary terms. And monetary terms depends upon the currency of the country, whether that is rupees, dollar, euro, whatsoever it is. So after identifying, we are to measure into monetary terms. Now the practical aspect of accounting starts. The practical aspect starts from recording. Recording is rather the first stage of our practical accounting. We have to record. What we have to record? The financial data, financial transactions. And where do we have to record it? These are recorded in the journal. Journal is a book of original entry. That notebook, that register, where we record the transaction first of all, that book, that notebook, that register is called as journal. So journal is a primary book. It is a first stage of accountancy. It is a book of original entry where we have to record the transaction first of all. All financial transactions, that is rent paid, commission received, goods purchased, goods sold, capital introduced by the proprietor, cash deposited into bank, all those transactions which involve money or money's worth are recorded in the journal. So journal is the first stage of our practical accounting. These two aspects are bit theoretical and this is a practical. Here our journey will start from the journal. Second stage is the classification. Classifying, grouping. Grouping similar transactions at one place. For example, all cash items will be recorded in cash account. All the sales, whether cash or on credit, whether to Ravi, whether to Sunil, whether to Mohinder, whatsoever, will be recorded in sales account. Preparation of different accounts is called as classification. Grouping. All cash transactions are grouped under cash account. Cash received, cash paid. Cash received on account of many things, whether for goods sold, whether for machinery sold, whether for income or whether for any other purpose. And similarly cash paid. All cash transactions will be recorded in cash account. All sale transactions will be grouped, will be classified under this particular account, that is called as sales account. So recording is done in the journal, and from the journal we prepare ledger. Ledger is again a notebook. It is a register where different accounts are prepared. cash count, sales count, purchase count, rent count, salary count, commission count, Hermes account, capital count, drawings count, bank account, where all the counts are prepared. That is known as ledger. So that is our second stage of our practical accounting. So after recording in the journal, from journal, whatever we have recorded in the journal, from that journal we prepare ledger. No other item. From journal we prepare ledger. That is called as classification. After preparing ledger, in ledger we have number of counts, maybe 100, maybe 1000, maybe 10,000, depending upon the size of the business, we do prepare the number of accounts. If the size of the business is large, we'll be having a large number of accounts. If the size of the business is small, we'll be having small number of ledger accounts. So these counts are large in number. Now we want to measure the performance of the organization. In order to measure the performance of the organization, in order to measure its profitability, in order to measure its financial position, we have to summarize them. Summary, brief, short. All these 100 counts have to be reduced to two particular statements. All these 1000 counts have to be reduced to two statements. 10,000 counts have to be reduced to two statements, and that statements are known as income statement and balance sheet. Income statement or profit and loss account. Income statement or profit and loss account. It is in the form of statement, it is in the form of account. We'll discuss what is the account, what is the statement later. So summary will be in the form of these two things. Number of ledger accounts may be 100. Ultimately we have to prepare these two. Number of ledger account may be 10,000, that may be 1500, that may be 2000. Ultimately, we have to summarize them into two statements, that is income statement and balance sheet. Why do we summarize them? In order to measure our performance. If we want to see our profitability, whether during the whole year we have earned a profit or we have suffered a loss, for that we'll prepare profit and loss account for the year. All incomes on one side, all expenses on the other side. The resultant figure will be the profit or the loss. If incomes are more, expenses are less, resultant figure will be profit. If expenses are more, income is less, resultant figure will be less. All those persons who deal with us, maybe the bankers, maybe the creditors, maybe any other person, they are interested to know our profitability, whether we are earning the profit or we are suffering the loss. And that profit or loss can be ascertained, can be found by making a summary of the ledger accounts, that is in the form of income statement or in the form of profit and loss account. This is one summary. We have to prepare two summaries. One, profit and loss account in order to measure profit or loss, and second, balance sheet. Balance sheet, where on one side we record assets, all are property. On the other side we record liabilities, the amount which we owe to the outsiders. All the property, the machinery, the cash, the building, the stock, all that is recorded on one side. All the liabilities, how much I am to pay to the creditors, how much I am to pay to the bank, etc. And how much I am to pay to the proprietor, that is also the liability of the business. Suppose these are 40 lakh. This side will be again 40 lakh. There is a difference in income statement in profit and loss account. Either expenses side is bigger one or income side is a bigger one. The resultant figure is profit or loss. But here no side will be bigger one. Both the sides will be equal because of the system. And our system is double entry system, which we will discuss later. Because of double entry system, both the sides have to tally. Otherwise there is wrong recording of transaction somewhere. So by preparing this summary, we try to know the financial position of the business. Financial position of the business. How the financial position of the business is measured? Through balance sheet. If somebody wants to judge whether I am financially strong or I am financially weak, the person will judge from my balance sheet. My assets, my liabilities. If my assets are worth 40 lakh and my liabilities are 39 lakh, my financial position is quite weak because I have the property worth rupees 40 lakh, out of which 39 lakh I have to pay to the people. For the proprietor, for the owner, only 1 lakh will be left. The financial position is not strong. So for that purpose, we compare the assets with the liabilities. And if our liabilities are to the tune of 3 lakh only, it means in comparison to 40 lakh, it means our financial position is quite strong. Out of 40 lakh, we have to pay only 3 lakh to the creditors or to the bank. Even 37 lakh belongs to the proprietor, who is the owner of the business. So by comparing the assets with the liabilities, we try to judge the financial position of the business. If we go to the bank for a loan, bank will ask for the balance sheet. Bring your balance sheet for the last 3 years, because bank wants to judge our financial position, whether the person will be able to pay the bank loan easily or not. Financial position can be seen from the balance sheet. So this is our summary. Summary in the form of income statement, from where we find out the profit or loss, and summary in the form of balance sheet, from where we judge the financial position of the business by comparing the assets with the liabilities. If assets are more, comparatively larger in number, comparatively, if assets are more than the liabilities, it is solid position. If liabilities, sometimes liabilities exceed our assets. How the liabilities exceed our assets? For example, our liabilities are 39 lakh, capital is 1 lakh, okay, assets are 40 lakh. This is the book value of the assets, value as per books, as per recording, but their realizable value, if we sell them in the market, we may not be able to realize 40 lakh. We may be able to realize only 35 lakh. So worth of value as per the books is 40 lakh. But worth of the assets in the market is 35 lakh. So we have the property worth rupees 35 lakh, while we are to pay 39 lakh to the outsiders. This is called a case of bankruptcy. A person is called as bankrupt or insolvent. Insolvent means when the liabilities of a business exceeds its realizable value of the assets, that is called as insolvency position. So that means we judge the financial position from the balance sheet. This is our summary. After summary, other part is analysis. For example, in the 10th class, you secured 400 marks and you convey to your friend, to your relative, that I have got 400 marks. One will not be able to judge your performance from 400 marks until unless you compare it with the grand total, whether these are out of 1000, these are out of 800, these are out of 500, okay, until unless you compare with the grand total, you can't congratulate the person or you can't sympathize with the person. So this is called absolute figure. Absolute figures are not reliable figures. These have to be analyzed. The percentage has to be calculated. Only if we calculate the percentage, then we can comment upon, then we can interpret the results. Only on the basis of 400 marks, we can't analyze, can't interpret, we can't comment upon the performance. Similarly, the profit we calculated at 20 lakh from profit and loss account, we can't comment upon this one, whether it is good or it is bad, until unless we compare it with the sales, until unless we compare it with the capital and we try to find out the percentage, etc. So we have to analyze them. After summarizing the data, we have to analyze them, and there are different tools of analysis which we'll discuss in plus 2. In plus 2, not in plus 1. Plus 1 part is only up to summary. We'll discuss little later up to summary part. But because it is included in the definition of accountancy, that is why I am discussing these parts also. So analysis has to be done. After making the analysis, we have to make interpretation. We have to comment upon. If you secured 80% marks, should your friends or your parents congratulate you or sympathize with you? Can't say. If your last year your percentage was 75% and last year it was 70%, they will definitely congratulate you. And if your percentage last year it was 85% and last year it was 90%, they will sympathize with you. They will not congratulate you. But if it is an item in isolation, on the basis of one item, it is very difficult to comment upon, difficult to interpret this particular result, this particular percentage of marks. We see another example of interpretation. For example, this is one glass of water. Okay, half is filled with water. Okay, now we are to interpret it, whether half is filled or half is empty. If half is filled or half is empty, one interpretation is half the glass is filled with water. One interpretation, one comment. Second one is half is empty. That is also an interpretation. That is a correct interpretation. Okay. And third interpretation by a science student, that it is not empty. Half is filled with air and half is filled with water. It is the interpretation of a science student and he is also correct. Okay, this is the interpretation, how we interpret the things. And interpretation part or analysis part is not an easy part. After analysis and interpretation, we have to communicate, we have to inform to the various stakeholders stakeholders, those who have their financial interest involved in the organization. Okay, those may be the creditors, those may be the bankers, those may be the shareholders of the companies, those may be the employees who are to get the pay from the organization. Okay, we have to communicate this financial data to our creditors, to our bankers, to the shareholders, even to the government who is to collect the tax, maybe GST, maybe income tax, or maybe any other tax, etc. Okay, they are called as stakeholders, and we have to communicate the financial data to the stakeholders. Everything, identifying, weighing, recording, classifying has to be done in a systematic manner. Whether classification, whether recording, whether summarizing, okay, whether analyzing, everything has to be done in a systematic manner. Now, distinguish between bookkeeping and accountancy. This is the bookkeeping. This is bookkeeping. This is bookkeeping. Art as well as science of identifying, measuring, recording and classifying. This is bookkeeping. This is the beginning stage, preliminary stage. And accountancy, this is accountancy. Art as well as science of identifying, measuring, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting and communicating. All these features are included in accountancy. Accountancy is a broader word. It is a discipline. It is a career. Somebody chooses law as a career, somebody chooses medical as a career, somebody chooses engineering as a career, and somebody can choose accountancy as a career. It is a discipline. And accountancy has its branches. Those branches are known as accountings. And there are three main branches of accounting which we will discuss later. But for the namesake, I'll say financial accounting, cost accounting and management accounting. Accounting, not accountancy. Accountancy is a broader term. Its branches are called as accountings. Okay? Financial accounting, cost accounting, management accounting. Three main branches. There are other branches also, but these are the three main branches of accounting. Okay? And accounting includes bookkeeping also. Because whatsoever features we discussed in bookkeeping, the same features we discussed in accounting also, and we discussed in accountancy also. And if I give you one example, this is a financial accounting. This is financial accounting. This is financial accounting. Just see to it. This is bookkeeping. This is bookkeeping. This is accountancy. This is bookkeeping. This is accountancy. And this is a one branch of accountancy, which is financial accounting. Financial accounting starts with identifying and ends with summary part. Summary in the form of profit and loss account and summary in the form of balance sheet. So distinction is clear. This is accountancy. This is accountancy. Okay. This is bookkeeping, and this is one branch of accountancy, which is accounting. That is financial accounting, which starts from identifying the transactions and ends with summary part. And let me make you clear that in +1 we have to study financial accounting only. We have to prepare balance sheet only. No analysis, no interpretation, no communication. This we will do in +2. There are some chapters of analysis and interpretation in +2 only. +1 is purely financial accounting, which is up to summary part only. Okay, So bookkeeping is a beginning stage, accountancy is an advanced stage. With a little knowledge of 3, 4, 5 months, you can become a good bookkeeper or a good financial accountant or a good financial accountant. Once you are able to summarize, you are able to prepare profit and loss account, you are able to prepare balance sheet, you have become a financial accountant. But if you say that I have become a good accountant, not financial accountant, but good accountant, you have to learn other aspects also, analysis part, interpretation part, communication part. These things are difficult one. These require theoretical as well as practical knowledge of the industry, practically. Knowledge of not only the accounting subjects, knowledge of allied subjects also, economics, political science, etc. Not only at national level but at the international level also. You need to understand international economics also before you analyze, before you interpret any particular thing. This part is difficult one. This may take number of years in order to become a good accountant. But to become a bookkeeper or to become a financial accountant, with the knowledge of 4 or 5 months, you can become a good bookkeeper, you can become a good financial accountant, but not full-fledged accountant who is able to analyze properly, who is able to interpret the results properly. So this is about bookkeeping and accountancy. Thank you very much.